Hi, this video is going to show you how to set up risers, which more often than not is used for any sort of staging. The items that you're going to need for the risers are obviously the risers themselves. Also, for all risers, we need back safety bars, just to prevent people from accidentally falling off of them. We're also going to need stairs to the risers, and the last thing that will go on the risers is the skirting. A few things that I want to mention before we actually get started setting up is that with any riser setup or any stage setup, you always want to make sure it's centered in the middle of the room, unless otherwise specified. But the worst thing in the world is to set up an entire stage and then realize it's not actually centered and have to redo it. So that's one of the first things that you want to check. And the best way to do it is, if the floor allows, just look at the patterns on the floor and kind of go by those. Basically, for this riser setup, we're going to be setting up two, so we obviously want one on one side of the room and one on the other. Basically just making sure the stage is going to be down the center. The next thing that we'll show is how to actually set up the riser itself. So to get started for unfolding the risers, first thing you want to do is make sure that you check your sheets. They should instruct or indicate how tall the risers are. The risers can all be adjusted to either short or tall. More often than not, it'll be the tall setting, which I believe is about 24 inches. It'll say that on the sheets. Anyways, this is how you adjust the height. Just one thing to keep in mind is you need to do it for all four legs, obviously. And the way it works is this little pin here basically slides into a hole, and the center silver leg, also has a hole that just slides through, locks into place. And then, put it back up. You basically just undo it, slide it back up, and there's a hole at the bottom here to hold it in there. The other thing you want to do as far as the height of the risers goes, make sure you get these bottom legs if you are doing the 24-inch size. And the reason why is because otherwise, basically, the outer edges will be set for 24 inches, and then the middle is going to be set for lower setting. So, the way you control these is there's a little pin at the bottom here. You press it inwards towards the center of the riser and just pull down this bar. And like I said, you want to make sure you do it for both sides. The next thing is actually unfolding the risers. Basically there's this red lever here. You're going to pull this in and that'll kind of release it and you just unfold it. It can possibly be done by one person, but it's definitely easiest and probably safest to do it with two. So, this side, push it in, and then the two of you, ideally at the same time, just kind of put it back. One thing that I do want to mention that's pretty important is the risers, when you unfold them, will have a small gap in between the two sections. Both people need to, once again, press in this lever and just kind of push the sections together. So there's that. Most of the time you'll be setting up more than one riser. When you're doing that, on the legs, or even in our storage closet, we have more of these if they're not on the legs. We have these straps with Velcro. Basically, you just wrap them around the legs and kind of bind the risers together. Helps prevent them from shaking around so much. The next thing that you want to make sure to take care of is the guardrails. These basically go on the back of risers, and they're for exactly what they sound like. They're guarding people from falling off. The way they go on, they just slide on. At the bottom here, these little clamps are controlled by a lever at the bottom. You just kind of unscrew it and rescrew it to loosen it or tighten it. So once you just slide that over there, they actually shouldn't go anywhere. You just need to make sure that you tighten them, so that way if someone leans against them or pushes them, obviously they're not falling off. Make sure you get the other side too. And as you can see, it's not going anywhere. The last thing that you want to do with the riser, always, is put a skirt on it. We have two different kinds of skirting here, just something to keep in mind. Occasionally people will grab two different kinds, set it all up only to realize that they have two different skirtings on the risers. So that's just something to keep in mind. And all this has Velcro at the top and Velcro along the edges of the risers. You basically stick it up there. And then for obviously multiple sections, you just keep going along. One thing I will mention too, the skirting has Velcro on all the edges so they can be connected together if you have a really large stage. And that's basically setting up the risers. Once you're done skirting the risers, you're nearly complete. This is pretty much how it should look. A few other things I just want to point out is with any skirting, make sure it's tucked in nicely. You don't want it hanging out. Just want to emphasize again, make sure you actually have all the same skirting. Basically, the last thing you want to do for setting up the risers is add the stairs. They're on wheels, so you can just kind of tilt it back. I would say more often than not, you want to center the stairs in the middle of the risers on the side. However, occasionally, depending on what the setup sheets say, you might position them further forward or backward. Especially if you have like tables or chairs on the stage. Obviously, you don't want people walking into the equipment. But like I said, if the sheets don't emphasize it, I'd say just center it. The only thing I want to mention with these stairs is each of them should have this little clamp right here. And the way to correctly secure the stairs to the stage is to press down on this little button right here, push it towards in, and basically there's a kind of a clamp on the bottom and it just grips right to the riser. And you want to do the same thing for the other one as well. This way, the stairs are securely put to the stage. And that's pretty much it. That's risers.